Waldorf inspired roots. In today's video, I am going to be sharing what is going to be in my son, who will be in 10th grade this upcoming year, what is going to be in his morning basket or his daily work. So this is the basket. We literally have a basket that we put things in. And so everything you see in here is what my son does in the mornings, and then in the afternoons we do his main lessons and also his electives. So a couple of these things in here were in my last video. Actually, just one of the things in here, I think, was in my last video. That is technically an elective, but he does it as part of his daily work, or it's in his daily basket. So I'm gonna slide this off to the side. Actually, I'm gonna slide this off to the side this way. So the first thing that I wanted to share was in my last video, but it is drawing. Now, technically my son only has to do this once a week as an elective, and we rotate his electives. But he enjoys drawing, and so he chooses to do this just about every day. So we have level 3, level 4, and level 5 of the Good and the Beautiful vintage images, and it's a drawing class. Now, he has done levels 1 and 2 this year, so I'll just kind of flip through. This wasn't my last video, so I'm just gonna flip through one of the books. But it has a bunch of drawing lessons. It starts more simple, and by the end it's much more complex, and each book starts where the last one picked off as far as complexity. So the first one you see is an alarm clock, and so it goes through each step of adding details to the pictures. And then I'll just kind of flip. As you can tell, it does get more and more complex. By the end of the book, it just keeps getting progressively more complex. And I'll just kind of flip through the next one just so that you can kind of see how it progresses. But as you can tell, I mean, they get much more complex with each book. So that's his drawing. So that's in his morning basket. And then we also have a sketchbook. And this is by Artist Loft. But we usually buy Strathmore, or like Arteza has some decent ones, but you can use any sketchbook. So this is what he's been drawing since the beginning, and we've got a car that's greater detail. So those are just some of the things that he's been working on this year, and he'll continue next year. And then I did also share in the last one for Easter, one of the things he got was a drawing set that has a lot, because before this he only had, actually I think they're in here, he only has, like 6 drawing pencils in here currently. And so we got one that has some charcoal pencils, and then a whole array of different pencils for drawing. And then we've got the rubbing sticks and some other things to help him with his drawing, since he really seemed to kind of find a passion in it this year. So that's that. Now, the other thing that's in here that I did just want to share really quick, we always keep a little pencil thing in here. I don't know if you can kind of see, but there's regular mechanical pencils, and there's also a pencil sharpener. I believe at the very bottom there's more lead and more erasers for the mechanical pencils. And then we also have started keeping a date stamp. Now, the reason why we put this in here is because I don't get a chance to, I don't sit down with him. He does his daily work independently. And he also, he does his electives at the end of the day, sometimes independently, some of them we do together. But since I don't get a chance to check these or grade these, he date stamps each of these when he does it. so that I can go through and I know that he worked on it every day like he was supposed to, and that he completed it. But also, because he's in high school now, when it comes time for us to do transcripts, which I can do a whole video on transcripts and you know, diplomas for homeschoolers. If you would like to see that video, please just leave, you know, comments or feedback in the comment section, or if you have any questions also. But the date stamp helps me to be able to go through and know what he did and when he did it. And so we try to date stamp anything he does that's like a worksheet, or we try to include dates on everything he does, whether it's a project or a report or whatever, because along with the transcript, colleges, if he decides to go to college, they like to see a portfolio for homeschooled kids so that they know what materials did you use, what books did you use, you do have examples of his work and things like that. So we just do the date stamp. It makes it easy, and hopefully it'll make the transition to, you know, him possibly going to college or whatnot, you know, smoother. So the next thing that's in here is also by The Good and the Beautiful, and it's handwriting, level 7. I believe level 7 is the last level of handwriting, and the reason why we're doing this is because he went to public school for K through 5, and then for a very short time in 6th or 7th, I actually can't remember. But he, throughout his time in public school, he never learned cursive. I don't know if they just don't teach it anymore. You know, I know some school districts for sure don't, but I thought ours did. I know of some kids in our school district who did learn it and some who didn't, so I think it's just, you know, based on what teacher you get. But he wanted to learn cursive. So I did go ahead and get the handwriting book, and it has, you know, things for him to write, and the lines are a lot smaller than in their other levels. But it's really focusing on handwriting, and then there are some drawing things in here too that are teaching certain skills to try to enhance their handwriting as well. And some of them are, you know, working on your standard writing, improving your handwriting there as well. Now, the one thing I do need to note, a lot of the Good and the Beautiful, most of the Good and the Beautiful's subjects are Christian. It is a Christian company, so just, you know, be aware of that if that doesn't fit with your family. You know, so in here there are some Bible verses that they copy on occasion. It's not all of what this is for sure, and it's actually not the majority of it, but they do refer to God in here and things. So just I wanted you to be aware of that. But yeah, so that's his handwriting. He does that daily. Now this year, for math, he was doing Algebra 1, and so in his morning basket, the things that we try to incorporate in it are mostly a review or things to refine skills that he's already learned. So he's able to be completely independent on it because it's mostly stuff he should already know, or occasionally he'll have to look something up or, you know, reference something to work on these, but it's mostly things he already knows. So because he did algebra this year, I went ahead and I found this book, Use It, Don't Lose It, and it is Daily Algebra Practice. Now, the way that most of our things work, every individual thing in his daily basket should take 5 to 10 minutes-ish. I think this algebra one might take a little longer, probably not, maybe 10 minutes, 15 maybe. But yeah, so he can get through all of this every day. And I do try to make sure I incorporate something from all of the core subjects, so math, reading, writing. Sometimes I'll have a science daily warm-up thing in here. I don't think I do this upcoming year. But so this is how it is. Monday, week 1, you put your name on it, and for me, instead of the name, I usually just have them date stamp in there. But it just has a couple problems to work through, and then it has your Tuesday work. So literally that's all he would do, but it's just enough to keep him going with his algebra and give him a few problems just to kind of keep it fresh in his mind. And so every day there's just, a little bit, and then at the very end there's a challenge problem. And so it's like, like an extra problem. And so they have that every week, the challenge problem. And so that's how the whole book is set up. So by the time he's gone through all of this, he should have really reviewed pretty much all the skills that he would have learned in algebra this year. So that's that one. Now, the next few books I have are all from the same company. I just discovered them this year, and he has a couple in his morning basket for this year. And they have multiple subjects, so it's not just these that you're gonna see. I think this year he's doing a geography one, because that's something that he had done last year, and so this year I wanted him to refresh his memory and keep going with geography. But he also has grammar and things also. So this is a company called Walsh Publishing, and they're daily warm-ups, and the subjects he'll be working through are writing, grammar and usage, and then I have 2 SAT prep books. He will have to take the SATs not this upcoming school year, but for 11th grade, at the beginning of 11th grade, middle, possibly the end of 11th grade. I can't remember when they're supposed to take it, but I think it's the beginning. So he's gonna work through the SAT prep. So there's reading and writing, and then there's SAT prep math. And so I will kind of flip through. As you can see, most of these are reading, writing, language arts, there's grammar, and math. So when you open these up, you do 1 page a day, and I have him date stamp these as well. So it just has a short thing, and then it has space for you to write. Now for him in particular, instead of writing in this space, he'll have, I don't have them in here right now, but he'll typically have just a lined notebook that he writes the answers, or whatever it's asking him to do. So every page just has a little thing, and he does 1 page a day in each book, and it'll have different assignments for him for writing. And then all of these work the same way, so grammar and usage. Actually, I think this one has a little explanation. Yeah, so the writing one didn't have this, but this one has a table of contents. So for his grammar and usage, this is level 2. This current year he's doing the level 1. But for this one, it's going to teach or review parts of speech, sentences, phrases, clauses, usage, verb usage, pronoun usage, adjective, adverb usage, mechanics, capitalization, punctuation, and then it has an answer key. And so when you open this up, it has different examples. It tells you what you're working on. This one is clauses, more clauses, subordinating conjunctions. And so it's really just honing in on those skills and just refreshing your memory, which when he goes to do his SATs, ACTs, or he's also talked about going into the military. So if he does his ASVAB, and these are all amazing skills that you need anyways, but will definitely help him for those. So that's that. And then the other 2 books that I had showed you, they're the same. They're the SAT. I think these ones are set up to look more like a test. So they're multiple choice. I don't know that they all are. There might be some writing. No, it looks like they're all multiple choice. Yeah, the answers are in the back. So for this, I just trust him that he doesn't look at the answers. But I'm never far enough away that I wouldn't notice. But he's very honest with that anyways. So, but if you have a kid who, maybe has a history of cheating or something, just know that the answers are in the back. But yeah, so, this one's all multiple choice, the way that the SAT and ACTs are set up. And that's kind of what it looks like. And so it walks through that. So that's what all is in his morning basket, and that's what he works on every day. And again, it's just a lot of review. So I hope you were able to find some of these things helpful, or find some ideas if you are trying to put together a morning basket. We love the morning basket system. It really gives him time to work on things independently, which at his age, in his grade level, it's really important for kids to have a lot of independent learning time. But his main lessons we do together, and then his electives are sometimes together and sometimes not. It depends what it is. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. And please, I would love to, have answer any questions you have, or hear any feedback you might have in the comment section below. If you liked this video or found it helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.